to environment.
Thank you. Today, let us remember that every act, from saving a drop of water to planting a tree, creates a ripple that shapes tomorrow. This seminar aims to inspire, educate, and empower us to be part of the solution. Because truly, the greatest threat to our planet is the belief that someone else will save it. And today's gathering proves that we are ready to be the change. There is no better person to guide us into this seminar than our own principal, Ms. Manjiri Alirao. Ma'am, request you to share a few words.
So मीटिंग पे आवाज नहीं आ रहा.
I've just put it up.
Once again, I welcome all of you for this event today. There is no Planet B. This is organized every year by our college, and we try to connect with schools as it was explained by Dr. Rajeshri. Before we start with today's event, I would like to tell something about our college because there are students from school and also junior college, and I think they will benefit from what I am sharing today. The Vithaldas Thakkar College of Home Science is an empowered autonomous institute of SNDT Women's University. It is a constituent college of university. That is how we are located in the university campus. And it was a conducted college for many years. And then in 1995, UGC, okay, the University Grants Commission conferred the autonomous status and we got academic autonomy. And we could design our own courses, innovative curricula that met industry demands and student aspirations. If you look at the courses that we offer, the programs that we offer in SVT, and you compare them with the programs which are available in other home science colleges, you will find a difference because of this academic autonomy that we have since 1995. And every 5 years, UGC has given us extension looking at our progress. And recently, it was extended by 10 years. So till 2033, this academic autonomy is given to us. Also, in 23, University, SNDT Women's University has given us the empowered autonomous status because of our excellent work in the area of academic autonomy. Our institute also has undergone the NAC accreditation process for 4 times, and in the recent NAC accreditation cycle, we have scored an impressive 3.13 score, the highest is 4. This reflects our commitment to maintaining the highest standards of education and the infrastructure. We have also got coveted honor of from UGC. It's called CP, College with Potential for Excellence. And this was acknowledging our outstanding contribution to higher education and research. We are also recipient of BRUSA grant, which is given by Government of Maharashtra, and it helped us to enhance our infrastructure and academic programs. SNDT Women's University has also given us Best College Award for the exceptional performance across academics, extracurricular activities, and student welfare initiatives. In our college, mainly we offer BSc degree in home science, and there are different departments offering different specializations under home science. The first one is food, nutrition, and dietetics. If you graduate from this department, then you can have your career in the area of food and nutrition as a nutritionist, clinical dietitian, food consultant, wellness entrepreneur, food quality analyst, and you can help people transform their lives through science-based nutrition. The Department of Textile and Fashion Designing will help you become a fashion stylist, design illustrator, brand consultant, fashion writer, fashion journalist, merchandiser, or launch your own fashion label and express creativity through textile innovation. The Department of Resource Management offers a degree in interior design, and you can build your career as an interior designer, face stylist, design consultant, presentation developer, entrepreneur, graphic designer, visual merchandiser, and create beautiful functional spaces for people. The Department of Human Development offers specialization in early childhood care and education and also in developmental counseling. With this degree, you can shape young minds as a preschool teacher, life skill coach, child development officer in NGOs, educational entrepreneur, or child psychology consultant, school counselor, and you can make a difference in children's lives. The Department of Media, Communication, and Development uh, takes you to the exciting world of media as a TV producer, radio jockey, advertising professional, event manager, sound engineer, photographer, cinematographer, content developer, video editor, or graphic designer. So there are variety of programs await you after 12th, and our college also offers masters in various areas. Okay, all the areas that I have mentioned earlier and more. And we also have SCT PhD Center. So if you start your journey with us in junior college or say in FIBSc, you can go up to PhD also. So today's event is about soil conservation, why soil matters to our future. It is a climate stability partner, natural water and air filter, food security foundation. How it is getting destroyed? It is because of over farming and chemical deforestation, pollution and waste, climate change impact. And what you can do, you can join community action and plant and protect trees, support natural farming, compost food waste, and stop littering and dumping. We started our activities around the World Soil Day on 5th of December, and today is the Farmers' Day. It is celebrated since 2001, and it is celebrated on the birth anniversary of our fifth Prime Minister, Chaudhry Charan Singh. He was born into a farmer's family and he dedicated his life for farmers' rights and empowerment. And in his tenure, certain policies were introduced supporting agriculture. So today I welcome all the students of junior college, senior college, and schools where students have participated in the activities conducted by our college. And I also have a few lines that I would like to share with you to conclude my presentation. Earth is the home. Let's keep it fine. Soil conservation is the need of time. Dig deep with care. Plants trees with love. No planet be sent from above. Roots of trees hold soil in place. Let's save the earth with a smiling face. Erosion is foe. Conservation is friend. Healthy soil is where life begins to blend. Soil is the base. Save it with care. Earth is our mother. We truly care. Nourish the earth, keep it green and bright. Together, let's fight for a sustainable life. Let's keep it rich, soil our treasure. No planet B, the earth is forever. Thank you. I take the opportunity to welcome Dr. Murari to our campus. Thank you, sir, for coming here and giving your valuable time. Thank you, ma'am.
I now invite Dr. Rusha Bipin Chandra Dave to come forward and present the session on modern farming 4.0, leveraging sensors, satellites, and AI. She is an associate professor, Department of Basic Science and Humanities, Anand Agricultural University, Mumbai. PhD in Physics with specialization in remote sensing and precision agriculture. Principal investigator and OPI on multiple national and international research funded by ISRO, SAT, Government of India, ICAR, and World Bank. Ma'am, we look forward to your talk.
Recording in progress.
Am I audible? Am I audible? Okay, okay. So should I start the lecture? I'm not able to hear anyone. Okay, very good morning, everyone present here. Okay, okay, I'm just starting. So very good morning, everyone present there, and thanks for giving me this opportunity to share my experiences here. So I'm just sharing my screen first. Is my screen visible? I'm not able to hear anyone, so just joining from my another.
Recording in progress.
Okay, so okay, fine, it's visible now. So I'll be delivering in both the languages, English and Hindi. If there is anyone, kindly send me anything in chat. I would be able to see that. So we are going to talk about modern farming and 4.0, or we can say 4.0, leveraging sensors, satellites, and artificial intelligence in agriculture. So we know that agriculture is very essential part of our day-to-day life, because whatever food we are having, that food actually comes from the land, and that land needs to be cared. उस land की हमें बहुत ज़्यादा care करनी पड़ती है, because ultimately we call it as motherland. So when we say it is motherland, it actually nurtures the life on the earth. क्योंकि हम animal की बात करें, when we talk about human also, तो हर जगह पे हम लोग कुछ ना कुछ खाना खाते हैं, या फिर कुछ ना कुछ एनिमल प्रोडक्ट लेते हैं. दे ऑल कम फ्रॉम लैंड, क्योंकि लैंड जो है वो कुछ ना कुछ क्रॉप उगाता है, कुछ वेजिटेशन है. और 4.0 क्यों कहते हैं, मॉडर्न फार्मिंग 4.0 क्यों कहते हैं? 4.0 का मतलब है कि हम लोग अभी 4th जनरेशन ऑफ एग्रीकल्चर में है. जैसे कंप्यूटर्स में भी जनरेशन्स होते हैं, वैसे एग्रीकल्चर में भी जनरेशन्स है. एंड जनरेशन्स का बात है कि स्टार्टिंग फ्रॉम वेरी फर्स्ट, आई वुड से फ्रॉम वेरी फर्स्ट डे, बहुत ही प्रिमिटिव स्टेज पे जब हम लोग थे, तब एग्रीकल्चर बहुत ऑर्गेनाइज नहीं था, कुछ ना कुछ उगता था. ह्यूमन काइंड जब डेवलप हो रहा था और इवॉल्व हो रहा था, तब सिर्फ और सिर्फ हम लोग हंटिंग करते थे. देन सिविलाइजेशन केम इनटू पिक्चर, and we tried to make it as an organized farming, agriculture farming. So what is 4.0? So if we start from agriculture 1.0, that was totally relied on human and animal power for everything, for every agricultural operation, starting from plowing, sowing, harvesting, and everything was done manually. हम लोग बैलगाड़ी का यूज करते थे, हल चलाते थे फील्ड में, एंड दैट वाज वेरी मच लेबर इंटेंसिव. जैसे जैसे पॉपुलेशन बढ़ती गई, वैसे वैसे हमारी डिमांड्स भी बढ़ती गई. डिमांड्स बढ़ती गई तो हम लोग को और फूड का रिक्वायरमेंट हुआ, एंड एज द रिक्वायरमेंट इंक्रीज्ड, we have started using different technology which was already being used in different sectors of our day-to-day life. इंडस्ट्री में यूज होता था, बहुत सारी जगह पे यूज होता था. द सेम थिंग्स वी स्टार्टेड यूजिंग इन एग्रीकल्चर ऑल्सो. तो engine का इन्वेंशन हुआ, and that engine was used in then agriculture, use of combustion engine, and वहाँ पे डेवलपमेंट धीरे धीरे शुरू हुआ. ट्रैक्टर्स एंड मशीन्स आर इंट्रोड्यूस्ड इन एग्रीकल्चर, और उसकी वजह से बहुत सारी एफिशिएंसी इंक्रीज हुई, फार्मिंग ऑपरेशंस इंक्रीज हुए, और लेबर बहुत सारा कम हुआ. डिपेंडेंसी जो लेबर पे था वो थोड़ा थोड़ा कम होता गया, एंड प्रोडक्शन वाज इंक्रीज्ड. बट स्टिल देयर वाज हाई डिमांड ऑफ फूड, looking to the increasing population. So then we entered in agriculture 3.0, that is using GPS सिस्टम, ग्लोबल पोजिशनिंग सिस्टम, सेंसर का यूज करते हैं हम लोग, कंप्यूटर टेक्नोलॉजी का यूज करते हैं हम लोग, साइट स्पेसिफिक मैनेजमेंट का यूज करने लगे. स्टिल इन इंडिया it is agriculture 3.0 which is in development stage. We are now talking about agriculture 4.0, but अभी भी इंडिया की अगर बात करें, इंडियन एग्रीकल्चर सिनेरियो की, so we are still in the transition phase of 3 to 4, and even there are some farms, it is still in agriculture 2.0. But if we see an entire world as development of agriculture field, agriculture sector, we are moving towards agriculture, 4th generation of agriculture, where we are using so many computerized techniques, so many sensor based techniques, so many robotic techniques in that, and now artificial intelligence, if we can see, it is everywhere in our day to day life. हम अगर मोबाइल उठाते हैं, वहां पे आर्टिफिशियल इंटेलिजेंस है. हम अगर सिर्फ कुछ स्क्रॉल कर रहे हैं, वहां पे भी आर्टिफिशियल इंटेलिजेंस आता है. आपने कुछ सर्च इंजिन में डाला है, then it again gives you the it serves you all the options. तो वो भी artificial intelligence है. So ultimately everything which is invented in any technology, it comes into agriculture sector also, because that sector is also developing along with all the sectors. So if we talk about agriculture 4.0, अगर हम 4.0 की बात करें, then it includes IoT, which is Internet of Things, आर्टिफिशियल इंटेलिजेंस, बिग डेटा एनालिटिक्स, रोबोटिक्स, ड्रोन्स की बात करते हैं हम लोग. अर्लियर ड्रोन्स were limited to spraying of some pesticide and insecticide. Now we are using drone for sensing also. The sensing which we used to do using some ground-based instrument or some satellite data, now we are very much interested in precision agriculture, which is actually site-specific agriculture system, where we can pinpoint the location, where we can pinpoint the problem, and we can pinpoint the solution also. So that gives farm based solution also, and it makes farm operations very easy. It is digitally connected and it enables the real time monitoring. Real time monitoring का क्या मतलब है? जब हम लोग कोई भी चीज जब हो रहा है तभी उसका एक्शन लेना चाहते हैं, then we have to have the real time monitoring of those agricultural fields, and that is done using only data driven decision making system. Data driven system that gives you the qualitative analysis of any farm. So कितना न्यूट्रिएंट का जरूरत है, कितना पेस्टिसाइड का जरूरत है, कितना आपको इसका जरूरत है, कितना आपको फर्टिलाइजर डालना है, एवरीथिंग यू कैन डिसाइड बेस्ड ऑन योर रिक्वायरमेंट ऑफ योर फार्म. So if we see that entire system, agriculture 4.0, that is the combination of IoT, AI, big data, robotics, sensor and satellite. ये सब चीजें आपने बहुत सारा सुना होगा. And now we'll move to how they are used. So first of all, we'll start with role of sensors. Sensor हमें पता है. Simply what is sensor? सेंसर, जैसे यहाँ पे साइंस के स्टूडेंट बैठे होंगे या नॉर्मली भी हम लोग हमारे आसपास डेली लाइफ में भी बहुत सारे सेंसर देखते हैं. एसी ऑन करना है, वी आर यूजिंग रिमोट कंट्रोल, दैट इज ऑल्सो हैविंग इंफ्रारेड सेंसर. टीवी ऑन करना है, हम लोग सेंसर का यूज करते हैं. हमारे आसपास हमारे आजकल जो स्मार्ट वॉचेज है, दैट इज ऑल्सो हैविंग सम सेंसर. वो भी आपका कितना आप वॉक कर रहे हो, कितना आपका breathing हो रहा है, everything it is sensing. So we are actually now occupied with sensors all the time, and those the sensor is a device that actually measures the physical input from its environment, and it converts it into the data that can be interpreted by either human or a machine. अब यहाँ पे हम लोग क्या कर रहे हैं? As a human, we have limitation to understand the data. अगर हमें कोई बोला जाए कि इतना 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 आपके पास फर्टिलाइजर है, आपको डालना है, एंड इफ यू हैव मल्टीपल फार्म्स, थाउजेंड्स ऑफ फार्म्स, तो आप हम उस डेटा को हम लोग समझ नहीं पाएंगे, या फिर वी टेक लॉट ऑफ टाइम टू अंडरस्टैंड व्हाट इज द एक्चुअल रिक्वायरमेंट ऑफ द क्रॉप, एंड बाय दैट टाइम गोज कि आपको उस टाइम पे क्या एप्लीकेशन करना था. एंड दैट इज व्हाई नाउ सेंसर्स आर इन पिक्चर. There are a lot of sensors. There are different types of sensors being used in agriculture system also. So if we see, as you can see in this graph, I have kept it very simple. So why we are using sensor? So precision in farming operations. We need lot of precision now, because पहले क्या था, हम यूनिफॉर्म एप्लीकेशन करते थे. हम समझते थे कि पूरा फार्म एक जैसा ही रिक्वायरमेंट है उसका, और उसमें एक जैसा ही फर्टिलाइजर डालना है. For very long time we were following those kind of traditional system. जैसे हम लोग पढ़ाई में भी करते हैं, टीचिंग में भी करते हैं, कि हम लोग क्या करते हैं, सारे बच्चों को एक जैसा ही पढ़ाई दे रहे हैं, हम लोग सारे बच्चों को एक जैसा ही क्लास में पढ़ाते हैं, बट वी नेवर नो कि कौन सा बच्चा बहुत अच्छा कर रहा है, कौन सा बच्चा बहुत कम कर रहा है, until we go through the process of examination, until we go through the process of analysis. हम लोग जो रिजल्ट आता है उसका अगर एनालिसिस करें, then we come to know कि हमने जो इनपुट दिया है उसका आउटपुट कैसे आ रहा है. तो कोई बच्चा बहुत अच्छा मार्क्स ला रहा है, कोई बच्चा बहुत कम मार्क्स ला रहा है, then what we generally do, we give more attention to the student who is lacking some information, lacking some knowledge in particular subject, and we try to make them similar to the other students who are getting good marks. Similarly, we do the same kind of operations in agriculture system. आपको पता नहीं है कि पूरे फील्ड में कौन सा पॉकेट है which is performing low, and the other pocket which is performing high if we are going through the conventional system. But when we use such kind of sensors, they will give you the qualitative information along with the quantitative data set also. And those quantitative data set, they are very much useful for understanding the differences in output. When you have different types of output, हम लोग जो लेते हैं एवरेज लेते हैं फील्ड का, but if you give more attention to one pocket of the field, that will give you the better average of the entire farm also. So these are some of the sensors, electrochemical sensors. So those sensors are generally put or they are mount on some canopy also. Crop की canopy पे उसको रखा जाता है, and that gives you the information about the crops. That gives you the information about the crops. Chemical parameter, its electrical conductivity, its electric and chemical potential also. There are sensors which can identify or which can quantify the soil moisture also, because soil moisture plays very crucial role. हम लोग अभी climate change की बात करते हैं. Due to climate change, there is lot of scarcity of water in some parts of the country, even in the world also. So soil moisture is very crucial part when there is lack of water, when there is a very crucial stage of the crop when it requires less water but the moisture plays very important role. So those soil moisture sensors are very important, and it gives you qualitative and quantitative data set also, and you can decide based on the soil moisture content how much irrigation you require at particular time of critical stage of the crop. There are thermal sensors also. हमें पता है जैसे कोविड हुआ था तो हम लोग को थर्मल सेंसर से हमारा टेम्परेचर मेजर करते थे. So plant is also a living organism, and plant is also having changes in temperature when it goes under, when it is under some stress. और वो stress अलग अलग रीजन के चलते हो सकता है. It can be because of water, it can be because of some pest and disease, उसको कोई viral infection हो गया है, then also the temperature of plant will increase, and those differences in the temperature in a field will give you the information from which particular stress it is undergoing, and you can identify the stress and you can use some remedies for those stress. Another sensors are crop growth sensors. So at particular whatever nutrients you are giving, whatever fertilizers you are giving, and how plant is growing, whatever insecticide, pesticide you are growing, and how much effect you are having, that can be monitored using some crop growth sensors. GPS is very common location sensor. It is actually collecting the information from various satellites, 24 satellites in constellation, and it captures data from at least 4 satellites, and it gives you the accurate location. And if we talk about smart agriculture, digital agriculture, or precision agriculture, GPS is very essential part of the modern agriculture, because that gives you the location of the field, and based on the location you can customize the applications in the field also. Other one is environmental sensor. Environmental sensor that gives you information of how plant is behaving in changing environmental condition. Because जब हम लोग देखते हैं कि वेदर चेंज हो गया या फिर बारिश ज्यादा हो गई, टेम्परेचर बढ़ गया है, तो प्लांट कैसे बिहेव करेगा, दैट कैन बी क्वांटिफाइड यूजिंग सम एनवायरमेंटल सेंसर्स. एयर फ्लो सेंसर. एयर फ्लो सेंसर काम करता है कि आपका जमीन के अंदर या जमीन के ऊपर कॉम्पेक्शन कितना है, कैसे वो एयर फ्लो कर रहा है, कैसे वहां से वो किस तरफ से वो न्यूट्रिएंट्स ले रहा है. So that kind of information can be drawn from airflow sensors. Optical sensors. Optical sensor आपको देता है कि प्लांट किस तरह से रिफ्लेक्टेंस कर रहा है, सनलाइट जो आ रहा है वो सनलाइट में से कितना रिफ्लेक्टेंस हो रहा है, एंड दैट पर्टिकुलर रिफ्लेक्टेंस इज एक्चुअली द measure of plants health also. Mechanical sensors बहुत सारे हैं which gives you the ability to change the plant's geometry also, and there are a lot of other applications of so many other sensors which I have shown in this particular slide. And apart from that there are other sensors also, so they are just used for improved efficiency, for water conservation, and you can take so many decisions based on the data you are getting from these sensors. Now if we say the role of satellite, so first of all it is not only satellite, it is a sensor actually, and it is mounted in a satellite, but now we are moving towards the ground based information also. So we can say there are different platforms actually. So as you can see in this particular segment of this ground-based, airborne, and spaceborne sensors. Actually, I would say sensors because spaceborne is satellite, but airborne you can go for the aircraft, helicopter, or any other high altitude aircraft also. And for ground based or another airborne sensor, you can go for the drone. And for ground based, you can have some tower also. So when there is a sensor, we know that the human eye is capable of sensing in particular region of visible spectrum of electromagnetic spectrum. So this entire game is about electromagnetic spectrum, जो हम लोग विद्युत चुंबकीय तरंग बोलते हैं. तो पूरा जो हमारा वर्ल्ड है, that is made up of electromagnetic waves. And those electromagnetic waves play very important role when we are capturing the information. तो हमारी आंखें जो है, हम सिर्फ विजिबल लाइट देख सकते हैं, लेकिन उसके बियॉन्ड भी जो प्लांट है वो रिफ्लेक्टेंस दे रहा है, वो उसके साथ इंटरेक्ट कर रहा है. So in remote sensing, we are using microwaves, infrared, visible light, and UVs. X-ray और gamma rays का use नहीं होता है because X-rays are very high energy, very strong frequency waves, and they just penetrate through the target. तो आपका टारगेट अगर क्रॉप है तो वो उसमें से पेनिट्रेट हो जाता है, वो वापस हमारे तरफ सेंसर की तरफ नहीं आता है. सेम वे गामा रेज आर ऑल्सो वेरी हाई एनर्जी वेव्स, तो हम उसका भी यूज नहीं करते. तो रेडियो वेव, माइक्रोवेव, इंफ्रारेड, विजिबल और अल्ट्रावायलेट उसका यूज किया जाता है प्लांट की जो हेल्थ है या प्लांट के अंदर बायोकेमिकल पैरामीटर है, बायोफिजिकल पैरामीटर है, उसको हम लोग जानने के लिए वी ट्राई टू आइडेंटिफाई दैट व्हाट इज द रिफ्लेक्टेंस वैल्यू. और वो जो रिफ्लेक्टेंस आ रहा है या फिर जो बैकस्कैटर आ रहा है, उसको अलग अलग इलेक्ट्रोमैग्नेटिक स्पेक्ट्रम के उसमें वी कैन एनालाइज दोस डेटा एंड वी कैन कम टू नो दैट व्हाट एग्जैक्टली द प्लांट इज टेलिंग यू. बिकॉज प्लांट बोल तो नहीं सकता है, लेकिन आप अगर उसका एनालिसिस करते हो, जैसे हम लोग बीमार है, पैथोलॉजी लैब में गए एंड वी गेट अवर रिपोर्ट्स, तो वो जो रिपोर्ट्स है उसमें आपको दिखाया जाएगा कि आपका हीमोग्लोबिन कितना है, क्वांटिटी दिखाया जाता है. तो ऐसे ही हम लोग यहाँ पे क्वांटिफाई करते हैं यूजिंग सेंसर डेटा, यूजिंग सैटेलाइट डेटा. सैटेलाइट के अंदर भी सेंसर है. सो अल्टीमेटली वॉट एवर वी आर सीइंग, वी आर एनालाइजिंग, और वो कंप्यूटर सिस्टम में जाता है. सो क्या क्या हम एनालाइज कर सकते हैं यूजिंग सैटेलाइट डेटा, यूजिंग स्पेस बॉर्न और ग्राउंड बेस्ड डेटा. वी कैन गो फॉर द क्रॉप मॉनिटरिंग, we can do the soil health monitoring, we can do this water management, and ultimately yield prediction, because it is very important part of agricultural system कि कितना yield होने वाला है. आप अगर उसका prediction कर पाते हैं, then you can plan for the storage also, you can plan for export and import. Government point of view देखा जाए तो कितना एक्सपोर्ट करना है, कितना इंपोर्ट करना है, दैट डिपेंड्स ऑन व्हाट इज द यील्ड. आपकी कंट्री में कितना यील्ड हो रहा है. लार्ज स्केल पे अगर देखा जाए तो कंट्री की बात करें तो कितना इंपोर्ट करना है, एक्सपोर्ट करना है, दैट इज बेस्ड ऑन यील्ड. यील्ड पूरा कितना आएगा पर्टिकुलर क्रॉप का. सो वेजिटेशन इंडेक्सेस अलग अलग होते हैं. वेजिटेशन इंडेक्सेस वी कैन आइडेंटिफाई, वी कैन फाइंड दैट हाउ क्रॉप इज ग्रोइंग अलग अलग सीजन में. इफ देयर इज एनी पेस्ट एंड डिसीज तो कितना लॉस हुआ है, दैट वी कैन कम टू नो. Irrigation management, what is the soil moisture, what is the crop water requirement, ultimately how much water you need to give to the crop. So it on that basis you can optimize the irrigation. बहुत ज़्यादा पानी हमें use नहीं करना है. So ultimately the entire technique, entire this agriculture 4.0 is based on the efficient use of resources. What is the efficient use of resource? Because we have lot of resources. हमारे पास fertilizer है, हमारे पास हवा है, हमारे पास पानी है. But maybe in future the time will come when we will be having lacking of water. बहुत सारे resources हमारे पास कम होते जा रहे हैं. तो वो जो कम resources है उसमें भी हम लोग optimum output कैसे ले सकते हैं? Disease and pest detection, we can do that also. Climate का impact क्या हो रहा है? If climate is changing, तो आप वेदर की पैटर्न्स को ट्रैक करके प्लांट पे क्या इफेक्ट हो रहा है, दैट यू कैन कम टू नो. एंड बेस्ड ऑन दैट अगर ग्राउंड लेवल एग्रीकल्चर की बात करें तो आप वेराइटीज डिफरेंट टाइप की डेवलप कर सकते हैं बेस्ड ऑन क्लाइमेटिक कंडीशंस. कि ये जो वेराइटी है दैट इज हीट टॉलरेंट वेराइटी, दिस वेराइटी इज pest and disease tolerant variety. So that leads to the improvement of varieties also, which can sustain the changing climatic pattern also. And ultimately yield estimation, so forecasting of crop production and improving harvest planning. You can plan the harvesting also. कई कई जगह पे irrigation facility नहीं है, वहाँ पे late harvesting करना है, so you can harvest, you can plan the date of the harvesting. So based on these things, there are a lot of things you can decide. You can conclude based on that, and you can go further for the decision making. The role of artificial intelligence, as we know that artificial intelligence is a boom now. Everywhere it is used, and there is debate also that whether it is good or bad. But if we see that every technology comes with its good and bad part, or I would say its pros and cons. So artificial intelligence, if we use it wisely for such kind of agricultural system, definitely it is going to help. हम लोग ये भी कभी कभी डिबेट करते हैं कि वो लेबर कम कर देगा तो लोगों की नौकरी चली जाएगी, बट द थिंग इज इट रिक्वायर्स मोर स्किल, so maybe it will be another opportunity for the people who are having skills. They can also work in this and they can grow the agricultural sector. So what is artificial intelligence? We know that it is the combination of different, it is an umbrella actually, and it is the combination of different techniques like machine learning, deep learning, computer vision. You can have the natural language processing, artificial neural network, and so many other things are there, and everything can be used in agriculture because हम जब सेंसर से डेटा कलेक्ट करते हैं, सैटेलाइट से डेटा कलेक्ट करते हैं, then it is a large number of data set. So we need to do some data analytics, and those data analytics part, it requires lot of understanding of crop also, at the same time the data also. And artificial intelligence that really helps to make the combination of agricultural sector and data, and it makes agriculture data analytics a very potential field, and how it can help us. So if we see, it can help in crop monitoring and management. So you can do the real-time crop growth analysis using machine learning techniques, because when we have large number of data set, suppose one crop in different seasons or different crops in one season, so there is a large data set. If you have 100 farms and then you have multiple phenological stage data, then that will give you a lot of information, and we need to segregate all those information because all the information are not linear. एक का दूसरे के साथ सीधा रिलेशन नहीं होता है. So sometimes it is having some crucial relation, and that can be solved using machine learning technique. For pest and disease, computer vision is very potential field. We are just capturing the images using simple mobile phone camera or your professional camera, and we can do some image processing, image segmentation, and we can get the information how much part of the crop is damaged due to pest and disease. For irrigation system, you can give the irrigation. आप irrigation दे सकते हो, सेंसर लगाइए, वहां पे सेंसर लगा हुआ है, that will give you the information कि कितना moisture कम हो रहा है. If it is lacking the moisture, it will just give you a beep sound, and you can start the drip irrigation from your particular location. Yield prediction, weather and climate advisories you can generate. So artificial intelligence is also a very potential field in coming future. And now if we see applications of precision agriculture, so everything we have talked about, they all are applied in ultimately precision agriculture. So what is the scale of precision agriculture? If we see, it starts from leaf and it ends to field. So starting from leaf, you can sense at leaf level for biophysical, biochemical parameter estimation. What is the chlorophyll content in the leaf? What is the anthocyanin? What is the carotenoid in the leaf? Because every biochemical parameter is the reflection of whatever it is getting. हम लोग जैसे face पे अच्छा glow आ रहा है, that is actually the reason because we are having nutritious food. अगर जैसे ही हम nutritious food लेना बंद करते हैं तो हमारे पूरे बॉडी पे उसका रिफ्लेक्शन दिखता है. सेम वे प्लांट में भी वही होता है. अगर न्यूट्रिशन कम है, येलोइंग ऑफ लीफ होने लगेगा. So those parameters, biochemical parameters, they are very crucial and that will be detected by some sensors. तो लीफ लेवल पे आप स्टडी कर सकते हैं. We can study at plant level also because growth parameter, प्लांट का ग्रोथ कैसे हो रहा है. आपने इतना फर्टिलाइजर दिया, नाइट्रोजन एनपीके दिया है तो कितना ग्रोथ हो रहा है, आप माइक्रोन्यूट्रिएंट दे रहे हो तो कैसे ग्रोथ हो रहा है, दैट इज एट प्लांट लेवल. और यील्ड कितना मिल रहा है, सो सेंसिंग एट फील्ड लेवल फॉर मॉनिटरिंग एंड यील्ड मैपिंग. आपको मैपिंग करना है कि 10 फार्म है यहाँ पे और 10 फार्म में अलग अलग फार्म में यील्ड कितना आ रहा है. सो दैट कैन बी डन यूजिंग such kind of sensor technology, and you can go for drone based sensing, drone based mapping also. So how conventional agriculture and precision agriculture is different? कन्वेंशनल में जैसे हम लोग समझते हैं कि पूरा फील्ड को एक जैसा ही रिक्वायरमेंट है, वी आर गिविंग द यूनिफॉर्म इनपुट, और वो यूनिफॉर्म इनपुट में कभी कभी ऐसा होता है कि एक पर्टिकुलर लोकेशन है, वहां पे रिक्वायरमेंट ज्यादा है लेकिन हमने कम दिया है, एक लोकेशन है जहाँ पे रिक्वायरमेंट कम है और हम ज्यादा एप्लीकेशन दे रहे हैं, तो दैट रिसोर्स इज वेस्टेड। वो ना हो, that is why we are using precision agriculture, which actually takes an account for specific requirement of particular location. इसको कितना requirement है वो उतना ही उसको चाहिए, आप उतना ही वहां पे दे रहे हो, so you are reducing the chemical fertilizer. अगर आप natural farming करते हो तो you are reducing the resources also, और in a way we are actually using the environment also, क्योंकि जितना ज्यादा हम लोग केमिकल फर्टिलाइजर या जितना ज्यादा हम लोग कोई भी ओवर यूज करते हैं पानी का, दैट इज एक्चुअली डिप्लेटिंग द रिसोर्सेज, सो वी आर रिड्यूसिंग द ओवर यूज ऑफ द रिसोर्सेज, इनएफिशिएंट यूज ऑफ नेचुरल रिसोर्स एंड इनपुट। ट्रेडिशनल फार्मिंग में हम लोग वो करते हैं, बट इन प्रिसिजन फार्मिंग वी टेक केयर ऑफ कंटिन्यूअसली मॉनिटरिंग ऑफ द फील्ड एंड वी टेक केयर ऑफ द रिसोर्सेज, हमें कितना देना है, लैक ऑफ एन एक्यूरेट डेटा अबाउट द स्टेटस ऑफ द फील्ड, जो हमें कन्वेंशनल फार्मिंग में नहीं पता चलता है क्योंकि हम डेटाबेस फार्मिंग नहीं कर रहे हैं वहां पे, बट व्हेन वी आर यूजिंग सम डेटा तो हमें वो पीक भी पता है कि इतना ही उसको चाहिए, आपको 2 किलो चाहिए तो हम 2 किलो ही देंगे, 2 किलो से ज्यादा की जरूरत नहीं है, then we are not applying that. So in a way we are actually increasing the profit of the farmer also. अगर फार्मर कम यूज कर रहा है इनपुट तो उसका प्रॉफिट मार्जिन भी बढ़ रहा है, भले यील्ड हो सकता है बहुत ज्यादा एब्रप्टली नहीं चेंज हो रहा है, लेकिन इनपुट अगर कम हो गया कॉस्ट तो प्रॉफिट मार्जिन भी बढ़ता है। एक्सेसिव यूजेज ऑफ फ्यूअल ड्यू टू इनसफिशिएंट मशीनरी रूटिंग, यहाँ पे ऐसा होता है कन्वेंशनल में हम क्या करते हैं, ट्रैक्टर स्टार्ट करते हैं, ट्रैक्टर को हम लोग घुमा रहे हैं, कहीं भी ले जा रहे हैं, तो इट इज यूजिंग ओवर यूजिंग द फ्यूअल ऑल्सो, लेकिन हमें यहाँ पे पता है कि इसी जगह पे मुझे एप्लीकेशन करना है, सो वी आर मेकिंग द रूट अकॉर्डिंग टू दैट, सो दैट ऑल्सो सेव्स लॉट ऑफ फ्यूअल ऑल्सो एंड इट इज हेल्पफुल फॉर द एनवायरमेंटल सिस्टम ऑल्सो, right? So there are a lot of benefits. At the same time, any technology, it comes with the challenges also, but the good part is there is always a solution for all the challenges. So if we see the benefit, so it gives you improved efficiency, all this IoT, if we say about IoT, internet of things, if we say about sensor or satellite, so they all give you the improved efficiency, so you can use there will be judicious use of the inputs also, और आपकी जो एफिशिएंसी यील्ड है और यील्ड की क्वालिटी है, दैट विल आल्सो इंक्रीज। वी हैव सम इंस्टेंसेस इन आवर केस स्टडी दैट बहुत सारी जगह पे ऐसा होता है कि आपका जो प्रोड्यूस है वो इंटरनेशनल मार्केट में नहीं जा पाता है, जस्ट बिकॉज कि आपका पेस्टिसाइड या इंसेक्टिसाइड आपने ओवर यूज किया है। अगर आप ओवर यूज नहीं कर रहे, इट इज विद इन लिमिट, तो आप उसको एक्सपोर्ट भी कर सकते हो, तो दैट ओपन्स अप द मार्केट फॉर द फार्मर ऑल्सो। And the thing is environmental stewardship. So what is environmental benefit in that? So pollution बहुत ज्यादा reduce होता है, it is not only in form of fuel and all, अब soil में भी leaching कम होता है if we go to the natural farming, organic farming or less use of chemical farming also, तो वो soil को भी retain करता है, its capacity also increases, and remote monitoring that gives you the real time monitoring. आज कुछ प्रॉब्लम है उसका सॉल्यूशन आपको तुरंत मिल सकता है, ये नहीं है कि आपको 10 दिन पहले कुछ प्रॉब्लम हुआ, यू आर गेटिंग इंफॉर्मेशन आफ्टर 12 days and by that time your crop is lost. So ultimately, okay, I'm getting some okay restriction on time, so it is my last slide. So we are having some challenges also because initial investment is very high. If we say satellite sensor, they are very costly, so initial investment is high. Data management, बहुत सारा data generate होता है, and we have to handle the large data also. Integrating issue, multiple type के data है उसको integrate करना है, and ultimately the very challenging thing is skill development. एग्रीकल्चर है, उनको रिमोट सेंसिंग नहीं आता, हो सकता है उनको प्रोग्रामिंग नहीं आता, जो प्रोग्रामिंग जानते हैं उनको फील्ड का डेटा नहीं पता है, सो वी नीड टू हैव सम कन्वर्जेंट प्लेटफॉर्म वेयर ऑल द स्किल्स आर on the same platform and we can merge it together, and ultimately we can talk about the solutions also. So we should have some government support, and it is there now. There are so many government schemes now, which is giving funds for such kind of research. Uh, we need some smart technologies, capacity building, training and education, and we need to join hands with some private and public sector also. That will definitely give some leverage to this particular system. So ultimately, what are the key takeaways from this? So we need to have the efficient and profitable system, sustainable system, data driven decisions we can take from this, and it will be having the future imperatives also, which is very much essential for global challenges for food security, climate change, and resource scarcity. So I hope I could complete in this, and so we can start as the new beginning with technological options, because there is always a good uh, beginning when we have good team together. So I always think that precision agriculture is a teamwork, it is not an individual's job, and farming is also a teamwork. So thank you for the patience hearing. Thank you, everyone. Yeah, it's over now. So you can take over.
Thank you, ma'am, for that session. Are there any questions? I now invite Ms. Manjari Bhalerao to felicitate Dr. Kamal Kumar Murari for his contribution. Dr. Kamal Kumar Gulami, he is an assistant professor and chairperson of Center for Climate Change and Sustainability Studies at DISS Mumbai. He has a PhD in climate science. He also has an MTech in water resources engineering and 15 plus years of experience in climate change, sustainability, and water resource research. We now invite him to on the stage for his next session and soil conservation as an approach for nature-based climate solutions. Please give him a huge round of applause.
For inviting me. Uh, Most of the time when I speak about climate, sustainability and other related issues, especially to the audience who is coming, not really coming from the environmental background, I'm very nervous. First, I'm a nervous person at home. Especially when young kids are there, my position is what I'm going to deliver you actually in next 20 minutes. And that should be in some way useful, we should be able to digest that, and it should be some take home so that you can actually, you are planning to change the career, you can use the career, you know. Title is really difficult actually at the moment when we say there is no planet B, this is much more environmental uh, focused title actually, and when kids are there, they're always looking for job oriented related issues actually. So the idea is where is a job actually, where is the opportunity actually. So what I was thinking about and trying to frame my topic in a way, because what I see currently in the current situation, how the systems are evolving actually. I think much of the opportunities are coming from the sustainability side. The term sustainability has become a very mainstream term. I can give you some examples. If you look at the mainstream management colleges in the country, like IIM, they were largely focusing on financial management, human resource management. These were the key topics and terms over there. Now, but if you look at currently what is happening in all IIMs, sustainability is the key area. management and sustainability is the mainstream part of the theme, I think, topic. 10, 20 years back, when I used to I was working in a leading think tank, JP, and my job was to interact with industry people and government people. And when I say I'm coming from an environmental side and saying that climate change is happening and we need to prepare and do something, what the kind of response that I used to get is, no, there's no climate change. The everyone agrees to this whole idea about the 10%. Now the job is easier because climate change is de facto everyone understood that this is what climate change is happening. That thanks to the international movements like IPCC, they have worked very hard. Leadership, globally leadership, varied terms, but otherwise the countrywide, other countries, the leadership is actually looking at that, making this issue that climate change is a real issue is going to happen. And then mainstreaming the whole idea of sustainability. If you talk about corporate, if you talk about government, sustainability is key in there. I think thanks to you to start this topic, actually is very important topic. And when you gave me a topic of the seminar, I thought what would be the right fit for the 20-minute presentation. I thought land restoration can be one, and since it is much more related to soil, so I think how land restoration and soil conservation can be an important point of comparison. Can we move to second slide? In 20 minutes, what I'm trying to do is I don't know whether I'll be able to convince you or not actually, but the way I'm trying to making my PPT is to give you an idea that when we talk about environment, it's no longer a environmental issue, it's much more mainstream business issue. Even in the case of the soil, I'll talk about and I'll give you some examples which will probably convince you that this is a mainstream business issue in the current scenario and how the systems are evolving into the whole world is evolving in the land. With some case study, I'll give you this whole idea. But I'll start with the basics of the climate change, who is responsible. I think many of you, as I said, climate change is now the mainstream topic everyone understands. You know who is responsible actually. So I'll start because this is the sort of starting point. Then I'll focus on if climate change is the real, what are the solutions for the climate change? What are the different ways people are thinking about the solution? And where does the idea of land restoration and soil conservation fits into the whole theme of this whole thing? Then I can focus more on the business case of the use of the soil conservation, in what way the business are evolving. And most of the time when we talk about soil, we connect soil with farming. He's the main custodian of the soil actually. Now the problem in India, the farmers are very poor. The themselves are struggling in order to, so I cannot consider farmer as my consumer. So in what way the systems are evolving, which are connecting farmers, but then they are thinking in a different way. What I'll try to do and try to disclose in the next coming slides. And then I have two cases. One is biochar program, which is quite popular in the movement actually. Many corporates are actually very actively working into it. And the other one is enhanced soil weathering. I'll give you one strong case actually, so in the strong case where things are happening. A lot of money is going in the area, so that's why partly people are interested in it. So with this background, I'll start my slide and I'll start with, I think I don't know how you know about it, a famous Gaia hypothesis, which was proposed by James Lovelock. Unfortunately, 2 years back he died, but he gave an idea of Gaia hypothesis. What is Gaia hypothesis? Gaia hypothesis says that planet Earth behaves like as a goddess, basically goddess. The way, or maybe you can consider planet as a human. The way the human behaves, we eat, we breathe, we do a lot of things actually. Planet also does it. So since we have many vital signs, when we go to hospital, we have vital signs and our health is typically determined by those vital signs. In a similar way, planet has some vital signs actually. And many people have worked into it, they have designed what are the key vital signs which will determine the sign. And the famous vital signs which came out in this is called planetary bound, which was proposed by Johann Rockström, who was the currently, I think, I don't know whether you watch it. There is a very famous Netflix documentary actually by David Attenborough, Our Planet. And post Our Planet, David Attenborough I think, joined with Johann Rockström, and they designed another documentary, which is also very popular in Netflix. It's Rockström and Attenborough, they designed it actually. Very, very popular in Athens. Rockström is the one who proposed this idea of planetary boundaries. Boundaries are basically, these are the vital signs of planet Earth. And if we cross these boundaries, the planet will be not in a position to what we call livable planet actually. So these are the key vital signs. So science is evolving, so our knowledge is also evolving. So we are actually working with this. There is a famous planetary boundary curve in the top, if you can look at. They first proposed in the year 2009, then they designed actually revised it in the year 2015, 2023, and very recently they came up that the planetary boundary estimated in 2020. I'll not go into detail how they are actually designing the planetary boundary, but I just wanted to tell you what are these boundaries actually. So initially we have 7 boundaries, which has reached to 9 boundaries because our understanding and knowledge is also evolving. And how many boundaries, the important thing is how many boundaries we are crossing. Because as I said, vital sign, if you are crossing, you are irrelevant. So that's the sense of the planet actually. So initially we were crossing, 2009 we were only crossing 3 boundaries. 2025 we have crossed 7 boundaries. So what are these boundaries? The boundaries is basically what we say, it's the biodiversity, it's including soil, it's a novel chemical entity which is people later on evolved it because what is happening, we are doing a lot of industrial activity which is releasing serious chemicals into land and water. So that is another boundary. Ozone, what we know very well, everyone knows about ozone. Fortunately, ozone we have been able to heal. This vital sign we have been able to heal actually. This is a new data that says that we have been able to bridge ozone hole actually. But then climate change is another important boundary, which is typically measured by one of the important indicators is temperature, and we know temperature every year. In fact, in Mumbai, we have seen the temperature is going very rarely. We have not seen temperature going 40, but I think recent year we've seen May or June or July is a month when the temperature is crossing 40. So these are certain vital signs that started connecting us. So these are just an example. The point is, the Earth is a very, very difficult situation at the moment because of the environmental constraints. In addition to this, we have many other challenges. Land desertification is one challenge. Desertification means the land is no more able to produce crop without the desertification is happening. The reason for desertification is the way we are actually doing agriculture. Climate change is happening. Heavy rainfall is actually eroding our soil, or high temperature is actually making the soil moisture low and then resulting in desertification. India, the land desertification is a very serious situation. Whereas in some countries, people are very actively working on this. One example is Saudi Arabia and Middle East countries, UAE, Saudi Arabia. We see the amount of greenness is increasing over there because people are actively working in the area. Now, if you look at the amount of forest or greenness, probably other countries are reducing their greenness, but Middle East is actually improving their greenness. So they are very much concerned about land and land productivity. The key driver is climate, and as I said, I don't have to tell you that climate change is happening. Probably everyone will be convinced at the moment. So, what is the responsible part for the climate? Fossil fuel. That's the key part actually. The energy that we use largely from the coal-based sources, petroleum system cars that we use, these are the responsible factors. Urbanization, we are expanding urbanization very fast. That's another thing. We are cutting forests because in order to produce crop and other thing, we need to cut forests. We need cutting forests. That's another driver. The way we are doing agriculture, we are currently doing very intensive agriculture across world. Intensive agriculture means we're growing a lot of crop, but at the same time, we are using a lot of fertilizers. And fertilizer is the key part for nitrogen pollution. Then we have a waste sector. Now, being in Mumbai, we know what is the waste problem actually. That's, I think these are the key drivers. Results are carbon dioxide, which is the main driver for global warming, nitrous oxide, largely from the agriculture, which is leading to rise in temperature. I think this is very old data. At the present, what we have 1.4 degree C rise with respect to pre-industrial or sustainable. And we're talking about limiting it to 2 degrees C rise. Actually. In fact, Paris Agreement said about 1.5. The soil organic factor is moving, so soil type organic factor is productivity is moving. And then loss of biodiversity in the cell. What would be the impact? Impact is land is degraded, no more able to take crop. Yield is reducing. There you are getting yield. You don't have yield in the production, which is actually we getting less production. Then he's not able to, land is not able to take care of the livelihood. And we know in India or any elsewhere, the people are actually largely depending on land for their livelihood. So these are certain challenges. Now this is the background of the challenge, but I'll move to the solutions. So where are the solutions then? So these are the three key categories where the solution lies, on which actually we are actually currently part of this. The first solution is what we call decarbonization. This is the area where every country is fighting actually. We are asking how much decarbonization. Decarbonization means you grow your economy, but without use of fossil fuel. That's a one-liner simple sentence of the decarbonization. We need energy to live. We need energy to develop it. But you should have energy sources without fossil. So what are those energy sources? Solar, wind, renewables, hydro, but not from the coal base, not from the gas base, not from the petroleum base. Actually, you remove that. This is very difficult task because if you really want to think about your life, how much petrol, coal, and gas-based product you use daily, you're using, because cooking gas is a very important component of your life. Then for travel, auto, car, and other things which are running on petrol and diesel are very important component. You can't abandon simply them in a coming day. You require a lot of time. So this is the challenge of, I'm just saying, this is the challenge for a country also to decarbonize. That's a real challenge. Actually. The second important thing is decarbonization means you're not no longer giving gas, putting gas to the atmosphere. You remove those things actually. But what about the gas which is already there in the atmosphere? You have to remove that gas. This is what we call sequestration or maybe negative carbon. So the second solution is negative carbon or sequestration. We call normally nowadays very popular term is carbon removal methods. There are a variety of carbon removal methods. There are some carbon removal methods that we do on an industrial scale. Directly remove carbon. Actually, we have a lot of large blowers. We take care and then we absorb carbon dioxide from this mineralized and then dump it down in the underground system. So these are typical industrial based carbon removal method. But then over a period of time, there are what we call nature based solutions. Natural system is offering a lot of solutions. A classical example is photosynthesis that plant does it. What photosynthesis when plant undergo photosynthesis, what they do? They absorb carbon dioxide. So this is what one plant is. Think about a plant in the global scale, they can absorb a huge amount of the carbon dioxide. You can put numbers actually. At present, globally, we have 40 gigaton of carbon dioxide emission into the atmosphere. Every year we do through our activity industrially. Out of this 40 gigaton, what we have in terms of the forest and other things, if we don't do anything, simply forest will absorb 10 gigaton or the sea will absorb 10 gigaton. 30 is additionally we are putting into the atmosphere. That's a simple number actually we can understand. If you can reduce this to 20, then it could be 10 actually. If you can reduce it to 10, so whatever we are releasing into the atmosphere, we are absorbing, then it's a net zero game. Then the life would be better. That's the situation. But this is the case. Because it was the second solution. Third solution is much more, at the moment, is people have offered in the scientific domain, but it's much more fantasy, what we call geoengineering. So the idea of the geoengineering is you put you design a system in a way, scientific system in a way that it will absorb, it will not allow the solar radiation to enter into the system. The solar radiation is the source of that. So what you can do is one solution, there are multiple. One said, I think some scientists said you put a lot of large mirror into the satellite. This mirror will reflect the solar radiation. But there are challenges. We need a solar radiation also. One feasible proposal which was submitted in US Congress also, which is called sulfuric gas emission to when the international flights and flights are moving. They suggested that you put an engine in the flight. When the flight will move, they will actually release a sulfuric dust, typically dust. And when the flight will move, it will release the dust, it will be uniformly distributed over space, and this will not allow solar radiation to reach into the Earth. So that's a feasible proposal because the cost is very low. Flights are already running, we just have to put one engine into it. That is what we call geoengineering. However, this proposal is also under scrutiny, and people said this will have a lot of challenges, particularly for a monsoon country like us. If there is no radiation, there is no monsoon, and then no monsoon will be the another setback to like it. So these are the three key categories of solution. I'll be focusing more on carbon sequestration part, which is labeled as, at the moment, it's labeled as nature-based solution, and this is very popular term. In the current scenario, it's very popular in a sense. And there are a variety of nature-based solutions, and many of the organizations is active. What is nature-based solution is? Nature is absorbing carbon dioxide. So what you do, you improve nature. Do some activity so that nature is improved, and then nature will do. So what are the two key constituents of nature? Ideally, three constituents. One is basically the ocean, is very important constituent. The second is biodiversity that we have actually, forest and other things. And the third is soil. These are the three key constituents. What you enhance soil, you enhance biodiversity, you actually improve your ocean system, then it will actually improve the carbon dioxide absorption. I give you a number out of 40, 10, this is the current situation, 10 gigaton that all the system can absorb. If you can improve these things, probably it can absorb more. So that's an idea. So this is the whole idea of nature-based solutions. Soil is very much important part of the nature-based. Soil conservation is very important constituent of the nature-based solution. So what is actually the whole idea in what way it is prompting? Is basically, if you conserve soil, if you do certain activity that will conserve soil, it will improve agriculture. It will then improve the climate action. It will help you to do the climate action. Now, where is the business proposal into it? If you actually go. The business proposal is the amount of carbon dioxide that soil is going to absorb into it. What you can do, you can monetize this carbon dioxide. What industry is doing, they are releasing carbon dioxide, you can penalize them. At the same time, if I am absorbing carbon dioxide into the system, I can monetize them. So whoever is actually working on these areas, I can monetize them. I can put a price into it. So if I am actually doing the soil conservation, I can say this is what amount of soil conservation I have done. This is what amount of the carbon dioxide I have saved it. Give me a certificate, I can sell trade into market. I get a monetary value. So this is the sort of idea of business proposal. That's a broad idea of the business proposal that is talking about. And for that, definitely you require a policy. You should have a policy framework in a way so that because business will actually move, there is a policy support. If there is no policy support, the business will not. I'm not saying government will support. It's only the framing of the policy that you require. So what is, I'll just give you an idea about India, but otherwise outside India, a lot of things are happening. So I'm just giving you what is happening in India. The nature-based solution is very much important part of our main policy related to climate change, which was first introduced in the year 2008. We call National Action Plan on Climate Change. So national-wide, we had an action plan for climate change. Keeping this in idea, I think every state has designed state action plan on climate change. That's a key area thing. And then I think we had a first state action plan for climate change, which was very popular. Then we have moved to the second state action plan for climate. These action plans are not only limited to the national and state scale. Now you look at the current scenario, what is happening. That has actually moved to the city scale also. We have a city action plan for climate change, and since we are in Mumbai and we know that Mumbai is the leading city in this, we have a Mumbai action plan for climate change. This, I think very recently it's been very popular in the sense to look at GMC is the key nodal agency to work into it, and Ministry of Environment, Mumbai, the Maharashtra Ministry of Environment is a key agency actually which is implementing it, along with the organization called WRI, World Resources. Sorry. So that's a key policy support into this. Then we have a forest and ecosystem. We are very much active into wetland, mangrove, grassland related conservation, biodiversity. Then mainstreaming ecosystem is adaptation. The term adaptation is climate change is going to happen. So what we need to do, we need to adapt to it. If we can't stop it, then it will lead to a serious consequence. Now, better to adapt. For example, if you know 40 degree is the normal temperature for the summer, what we'll do, we'll adapt. And what we will adapt? We'll have ACs, we'll have fans, or we'll have our clothing way, actually the way we take. Then we'll have a lifestyle change also. We'll use more buttermilk, we'll use more cold water. These are the way of adapting to it. Similarly, every system needs to adapt to it if the climate change is happening actually. So that is called ecosystem-based adaptation. How an ecosystem is adapting. We have a government policy that all adaptation process should be ecosystem-based adaptation, but we mainstream in ecosystem-based adaptation. Finance is very important. They said that's a key driver actually. If we have money, we can do. If we don't have money, we can't do it. So finance is one of the key drivers. The whole debate, I think part of Government of India asked me to put an input report for G20 when Government of India had a G20 presidency. One of the key parts of the G20 input report was sustainability financing. So I've been part of that sustainability financing. One of the key within the sustainability financing, there are three drivers. One is called climate change financing, which is largely focusing on industry, how industry is moving from fossil fuel to renewable, what kind of finance requirement you do. That's the first element. The second element of the sustainability financing was impact financing. In what way we can design different instruments so that we can do better impact, like social impact related activities. So that's the second. I was part of that impact financing group. And the third important group is nature-based financing. What mechanism and instruments we design in order to make a nature-based financing activity. So this is the key driver in that. The mainstreaming nature-based solution in urban infrastructure, I have given you examples of Mumbai Climate Action Plan. It is largely focusing on nature-based financing activity. If you speak to BMC, right now BMC is more interested on designing a urban nature-based solution. Actually, we've been approaching a number of times what could be the best way of design. Linking nature-based solution in disaster risk management, that's another key policy. But if you have policy support, what you require a business case. And what I feel that there are four things that for a business case we have to consider. One is the value. What is the value of then who are the customer who can actually take that? And then there is benefit. If you're producing any value, there is a customer. Definitely, in order to make a value and value addition, you will have to do some cost actually. So you have to incur some cost. So what is the cost element into it? And then what are the revenue models currently we have? What will we do? These are the four things. And then we have examples. So what are the value we are going to get from nature-based solution and focusing more on the soil as a key part of the nature. Soil, if we actually do soil conservation, soil health will increase. So that's a known factor, right? Good soil health, a good soil with good health will enhance productivity. That's one thing. But as I said, this is connected to the climate part. So there is what we call carbon management customer. So we call carbon as a key value out of soil. If you improve soil, soil will absorb, take more carbon, so it can have more carbon. Then what you can do, you can design the system so that you can sell that carbon. Then a good soil will have a resilience, good productivity will actually improve the economic system again. Third, another factor I'm using, and I just added this into the prestige. So if any corporate is saying that I'm doing this, they will actually improving their prestige. So that's a value addition activity there. Who are the customers? Customers are corporate. What is the mechanism? CSR is one, corporate social responsibility. The big money, CSR is a mandated part. Every corporate is getting a profit, they'll have to, at least they have to reserve 2% of their profit for activities, actually CSR. And it's a huge money. It's a thousands of crores of money actually. Think about Tata Group earning 40,000 crore in a year. 2% of the 40,000 is a huge amount. Similarly, Adani, you can think about, or maybe you can think about Reliance Group. So overall pool is very large. That's the CSR. In addition to this, there is another term which is very popular in the current scenario, is called ESG, environment, social and governance. So every corporate or business organization is measured using the value of ESG. And they need, because they need to improve their prestige, they need to convince their, because if you look at how business is moving, business requires investors from outside country, within country. So they need to convince their investors. Investors are convinced that they have a good ESG performance system. What the cost of reporting and sort of phenomenon. So that's the design. Then government and investors. So these are the two key customers. It's like whole supply chain market. But then you have to build some cost. You have to do something in order to do this. What is the cost? So biomass sourcing, you would require biomass. You would require an agricultural system. For that, you would require to do some activity. In order to do activity, you have a land. You require basically within the land, you require labor activity and something. So that's one. Then you require technology. I'll talk about, for example, biochar program, you require a plant. Plant can do what they can do. It can actually use the crop residue, burn crop residue, and produce a put in the soil waste. So that is what you require. You require equipment, testing equipment, and that's a cost. Because land is connected to the community, so you have to have a community engagement. You have to have training, you have to have incentive programs for them. Then you need labor and logistics, and then since you have to say this is my carbon activity, so you have to have a verification of the carbon. So someone could testify. So standard and documentation is very important part of that. So these are the broad list of the cost structure. Revenue models, as I said, carbon market. But we are giving value to carbon. Market is determining value to carbon. So if you are actually absorbing carbon, you can get a certificate and you can sell it to the market. So that's the revenue model. CSR funding is a revenue model. You can go to the CSR part. Philanthropic funding, I talk about it. This is also a big thing. The big philanthropist wants to put money. They want to do something actually, and they have a huge money. So their foundation-based money is also there. Product. Once you have a good soil health, you can design a product. Corporate are interested on those products. Cost savings, many corporate like food and beverage industry, they're getting the supply chain, so they can actually get better productivity. They have a positive view. And ESG and sustainability reporting are. What are the key examples? So one is biochar program, regenerative agriculture, you improve agriculture system, agroforestry, you have a land, you do agriculture and forest together. That's a thing actually. Land restoration, improve the land quality, wetland and watershed based soils, and bio input. Bio input means improving. It's a very popular term nowadays. Everyone is interested to take organic activity. So we don't want anything which has chemical fertilizer or chemical pesticides. These are typically what we call bio input. So bio input has its own industry actually. So these are the key broad areas where we work on. Who are the key players? And this is very very limited list because yesterday I read it, so whatever came in my mind, I have reported it. Nature Consortium is the consortium of number of corporates together actually working into this. WRI India talked about Urban Climate Center C3 is very much active into it. This is National Institute of Urban Affairs and WWF probably everyone knows. And then Wetland International is the international agency. That is the India Climate Collaborative in India. That's a Mumbai-based organization, which has a strong collaboration of multiple corporate entities. They're doing it. IORA Ecological Solution, Asoka Trust, which is Bangalore-based institute actually, and Foundation of Ecology. This is very limited list. This is coming from my own self. I'm not putting corporate over there. But this is the limited one of the key players into it. I'll talk about some corporate actions actually, what they are doing. So I think Mahindra and Mahindra has a project called Project Sriali, which is very much part of their CSR activity, and they're very much interested in it. The whole idea of CSR activity Haryali project is they have an area and then they wanted to improve the soil conservation, soil partnership. They're putting a lot of money into it. Part of this, they are actually saying that they can actually claim as a carbon ITCS Social and Farm Forestry Program. Reliance Foundation has called program Triveni Plantation Initiative. Although they started in a limited area, but they would like to take a long reach. Many of them are CSR. I said CSR is a huge funding area. And I gave you a little bit idea that 2% itself is the thousands of crores of rupees. So that's a big business area. Vardhaman has started EcoSec Miyawaki Forest actually. Miyawaki Forest at the moment is quite popular. Every corporate want to, when they have a large industrial plant, they want to have a Miyawaki Forest area. In fact, very recently I visited a place in, I think you may be knowing about Sanand, very popular for Tata Trust, Tata Nano started taking land over there. But Sanand is the plant, is the location, industrial area, which is the, it's not only known for Nano, it's actually known for a Tata Motors overall supply chain. There are 40+ factories, related factories over there, and they've been making this Sanand industrial area bigger. And one of the key constituents of the Sanand industrial area is that they designed a 100-acre Miyawaki forest in the region. So that's a very key part of, because they wanted to make it much more livable and then you have IMECA large scale forest carbon projects. Biochar carbon removal, I'll be focusing more on this by Vara and Google. Google has signed with the startup called Vara, and what they wanted to make a large scale biochar program in the area. I'll be talking more about it. Then worldwide, WWF and India Climate Solution Partnership. The whole money is coming from HSBC Finance working into it. Aravalli, the moment Aravalli is very tense area because everyone is signing petition on Aravalli. Aravalli size is going and other things. But this is what in Gurugram, because many corporates are over there actually. So I think 70+ corporate have joined together in order to improve the structure of Aravalli. Soil is the key part of Aravalli. So these are the corporate actions in the areas where we are doing corporate. I'll be focusing on two case studies. One is the biochar program, the other one is enhanced soil weathering. I'll talk about this. This is what it interests me also. The system is moving. Biochar is what is biochar? Basically, biochar is what you do. You have a lot of agricultural waste, and what you do, you burn that agriculture. When we say burning, there are two ways of burning. Either you do a burning in a atmospheric exposure, what we call oxidized burning, combustion. If you undergo the combustion, what will happen? It will release carbon. So this is not a preferable mode of burning. When we say burning, we think fireless. There is no oxygen. You actually subject the system to a very high heat in a closed digester. And then what we are going to get it, we're going to get a gas, which is what we very similar to sort of methane gas, very similar to cooking gas. So you can utilize this, and then you'll be getting a finally that's the burn product, this is the residue product. By the gas, what you're going to do when you burn it by the gas, you can use this for the commercial purpose. And the residue that you're going to get it is highly rich in carbon and minerals. What you can do, you can sell it to or throw it in the land actually. This residue will improve the soil binding capacity. This residue will actually improve the productivity. So this is the idea. Now the advantage is there are certain climate solutions which will remain for 5 years, 10 years, 20 years. There are scientific evidence people have brought it. They said biochar based product, bioproduct can be there for 10,000 years. So what you're doing currently can be longer term. You will have that much capacity. So what we can do is what we can use this biochar for improving productivity on a longer run, and at the same time, we have used the gas for commercial purpose. Whatever you are doing in order to improve the land productivity, you can claim as a carbon credit. Now this is the carbon that you put in. So you're getting a two-way advantage. One is commercially cutting it, the other one is claiming as a carbon. These are the projects actually. Varaha have with Google, they have done it. Himachal Pradesh, they have a biochar program. They are actually running a fine doing it. Then bioorgano, like president of the carbon program. I have one more last slide as a case study, which is for enhanced soil weathering. So what is enhanced soil weathering? I'll take 5 more minutes actually in order to finish this. So what is enhanced soil weathering? Enhanced soil weathering is a known phenomenon. We know weathering. Weathering is breaking of rock and then converting into rock, converted into soil. But this process takes a very long cycle, a 10,000 to billion years period. But what happens when weathering happens? Scientifically, we know about it. Whenever weathering happens, it absorbs carbon dioxide because soil particles absorb carbon dioxide from the atmosphere and bind it. So you can reduce the atmospheric carbon dioxide. People have identified this. This is a sort of background. People have actually designed this in form of the workable experiment. They said they can actually enhance this process of the normal process which is happening to taking 10,000 years. They can do in a year actually. And this is a project of a startup organization called Mati Company. It's a Bangalore-based organization. And they proposed this idea. There are a lot of scientific work. They actually took their scientific work and they identified this idea actually. And they have actually floated this to many philanthropic funder organizations. And one of the leading philanthropic funding funder is Elon Musk has a foundation called Musk Foundation, which has given $50 million grant to them. Just starting with this. They've also got the grant from Bezos Foundation, Jeff Bezos Foundation, and Walmart Foundation actually. So those are the key areas. As I said, philanthropics are very active into it. That's a business proposal. What are they doing actually? They actually, wherever they have a wasteland, they can actually go and do a weathering process that what we call fast weathering process, just breaking soil and making soil, churning soil and other things. And then they'll add more water and organic matter, and the land will be much more active. Productivity as well as they can change carbon. Now there are 3 benefits. One is philanthropic funding is giving them money. They can then claim as a carbon benefit also. They can claim as a carbon certificate. And then when they're distributing the land, high quality land to farmer is getting incentive. As I said in the beginning, most of the farmer in India are smallholders. So we are not really, we can't consider smallholder farmer as a consumer. So we have to consider the other road. We have to make a community of farmers. We cannot expect anything to be. We have to give them. This is what they are giving them. In another way, they have a system which registers the carbon footprint. So they actually register a carbon credit from them and they're getting a funding structure. So that's another case of the business cycle where they're actually utilizing the soil conservation activity, converting this into a good business proposal, which is working at the moment. You can see that a lot of grants they are going to get. They're active not only in India, they're active in Africa and other countries where there is a lot of proposal of proposition of Google. So this is, I think I'll be, I'm sorry, I've been very fast. I will convert everything in 20 minutes, but there are a lot of background is there in the basis. But the whole idea is soil conservation is no longer basically environmental related activity. It's also a business case. The whole system is working into this. The system is working that many of corporates, governments, and others are active to think about that they need to do something for the environment. If they're doing for the environment, they're improving their business. This is the whole new idea. Earlier business people were thinking about that they only have to think about shareholders. Now they say shareholder is not the only important element, stakeholder is an important element, and environment is very much important part of the stakeholder. And that is where the whole new thinking is coming up, new paradigm of investing and investing cycle is coming up. And these are some of the examples. With this, I would like to end my presentation. Thank you all. And if there's any question, I'll be happy to take.
Good morning, everyone. Can you hear me? Perfect, but I can't hear you.
Yes, ma'am, we can hear you.
Okay, perfect. Now I can hear you. It would be nice if I can hear and see you, so I know a little bit if you understood everything from my side, because I have to apologize. My voice is a little bit down due to infection I caught last week in Mumbai. So therefore, I hope you give me a little bit space. So I cannot see the classroom and I cannot hear you.
Ma'am, can you hear us?
Now I can hear you, but other than that, I can't see you, I can't hear you, and I'm not sure if I am audible or not.
You are audible, ma'am, but okay, the class feed is on SVT college video title.
It's like I speak into a dark room. It's just a black screen I'm just staring at currently.
Ma'am,
Okay, now I can see everyone. Okay, then I just start. Okay. Okay, so first of all, good morning, everyone. Before we start, I would like to introduce myself, and please let me know if I'm not audible anymore. I'm very glad to speak today about plastic crisis, and yeah, maybe to encourage you a little bit more what needs to be done in the future in regards to the rising plastic pollution levels, not only in India, but worldwide. So my name is Ricarda. I'm from Germany. It is currently, I think, 7 o'clock here, or more or less 8 o'clock in the morning from my side. I've done these sessions in the past. My profession is I'm a work and organizational psychologist, and I founded this project called Project Plastic Extinction 4.5 years ago, due to, as I mentioned, the concerning levels of plastic pollution. If there's any challenge to understand me, please let me know that, okay?
yes, ma'am.
TK?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So my background is yes. Should I continue?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So I have I've worked in advertising before, and since, let's say, yes, 4.5 years, I am associate with different collaboration partners, not only from a manufacturing side when it comes to plastic pollution, but also from a research side. I am supporting and I'm collaborating with different projects in order to make an impact in regards to plastic pollution with the focus on India. Why India? That's a good question. I came to Bombay 20 years ago. So that was the first time when actually India started with a lot of construction work. Wally Seaface wasn't built at that time. And when I see Mumbai now, with the rising pollution levels, with the constructioning happening across India, I think the signs are very alarming also due to the rising levels of CO2 emission. After 4 years, I have realized that everything is connected. And pollution is not just, let's say, waste seeing around you. It is actually contaminating our soil. So what does that mean to us? It means basically that we are harming ourselves and we are contaminating our soils, not only with plastic, but with a lot of other things. And what for human health is so essential as in water, as in air, also as in access to healthcare, it becomes more and more challenging due to the rising levels of pollution. I have seen that myself. 2 weeks ago, I had been to Delhi, and it was really, really challenging for me to breathe after 30 minutes being outside. And what we always think is that what we are breathing in is maybe a CO2 emission, which is very alarming, but it's actually also microplastic. So plastic itself is a material, no doubt, which is one of the most sophisticated materials in comparison to any other materials we have seen in the world so far. Why? Because we are using it in 90% of all our products. So even if you think you are holding in your hand a product which doesn't look like plastic or which doesn't feel like plastic, there's always a certain amount of a polymer inside of that. Can you hear me properly?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, perfect. So the challenge with plastic is not that plastic should be forbidden. The challenge with plastic is that we need to have a certain certified manufacturing process, because most polymers are not even listed. So a polymer is, if you say so, a chemical reaction from little monomers. So in this strong chemical reaction, you can form that into different kind of products. So there are 3 families of polymers we have. And these kind of 3 families of polymers, like an elastomer, for example, are used in different products. So if we are talking about, we would like to reduce the amount of plastic, I'm asking you, how would you like to reduce the amount of plastic in the healthcare sector? The reason why we are so advanced in many fields, in many industries, is due to plastic. But we need to find a way how to deal with plastic better than we have done that in the past. And it's not about a bag we are manufacturing, and it's not also about a plastic bottle. It's about the whole product chain, the whole value chain of how we have manufactured a polymer. There are currently around 100,000 listed polymers, listed, but it doesn't mean that these listed polymers are the only ones, because there is no such thing as a worldwide register where you have to register a polymer. So most of these chemicals reaction we know so far, they can also release very toxic elements that can harm ourselves. So if you, for example, look in the current medical statistics, we have found that microplastics, due to the way how we breathe microplastics, how we eat microplastics, and how we drink microplastics, it can harm our heart, our liver, kidney, and there are certain researches where it is proven that microplastic is even capable of entering into the placenta of a pregnant woman. So what does it mean for us? It means like every Bisleri bottle you are open, you are drinking a certain amount of microplastics with it. Keep in consideration that Bisleri has around 122 drilling sites for water across India. The amount of effort they have to take into, let's say, exploit that water out of the soil becomes more and more challenging in India due to the level of pollution, not only because of microplastics. So it means the quality of your drinking water in every Bisleri bottles will be less and less and less within the upcoming years. Because Bisleri has to put more chemicals inside the soil, inside the water, to make it drinkable for you, which means chlorine, which means adding certain minerals to it, because it's not nutritious anymore. We all know that in a way. So what I'm sharing here is not, let's say, it's not news. But what can we do about it? That's the question. Because in the end, we as individuals, we can do only a certain amount, which most of the time ends up into reduce plastic, replace plastic, or recycle plastic. But if there is no such system into place who supports us in the way how we are polluting the planet, it becomes more and more challenging. Because what alternatives do you have? Probably every household has a filter system where you can actually reduce the amount of plastic bottles you are using. So everyone in India has this kind of refilled bottle, but not everyone has access to these kind of water. So what happens in the end is every meeting you have, and I'm very sure that also every meeting I attend so far in a university or in a college across India, I got plastic bottles. So this is like the first thing where you can rethink, okay, how we should reduce the amount of plastic bottles in that way. But how will you reduce the amount of plastic that is used in healthcare? Every surgery contains an amount of plastic with the clothes the surgeon wears, with the gloves, with any anesthetic that is used, the tubes, whatever it is. we specifically have designed these products because plastic outnumbers in a lot of specifications any other material which cannot be used. And it's the only, let's say, artificial material in comparison to wood, steel, or glass. However, there are a lot of nowadays, let's say, alternatives, as in bioplastics. So, which means we are looking for more natural material, and that is the reason why we think, okay, a plastic bag that is made out of pure plastic, and now we are using a different material, it will help us. In the end, it won't. If we're still littering and polluting the soil, it won't. So when you go, for example, to Vasai Beach, and I have done many cleanups at Vasai Beach, the contamination of that soil goes 2 to 3 feet down under. How will you be ever capable of cleaning that without having, let's say, a larger construction sites where you need heavy machinery for cleaning it? So what I'm saying here is, as more often we are polluting the soil, we are challenging our sources of water, but also our sources of food. Because when every plant, every seed that is planted into the soil will eventually extract the microplastics from the soil. And this is how microplastics enter into your food chain. Every fish. So remember, you are going into a fish restaurant somewhere in Mumbai. You can be sure that every fish that is caught nowadays contains plastic, which means basically you eat plastic as well. The only way of reducing the amount in order to reducing the harm to our health is not to avoid those things, but actually to avoid littering, to clean up these sites, and to put a larger waste management and the structure into place in order to tackle these challenges. The human body is able to be exposed to a certain amount of microplastics. It is still discussable what kind of amount we are talking about. But we know for sure that in Germany at least, or in Europe, we are eating 1 credit card a week of plastic. So just look at a credit card that size you are eating every week through the food, through the drinks, and the body is still capable of digesting that amount. But if the level is rising, it will cause, in the longer run, heart failure, kidney failure, and liver diseases. There are certain research that have found out that microplastic had an impact to the growth of cancer cells in the liver. So there is no much research done currently because we do not have long-term, let's say, research or evaluations on the harm of microplastics. But the newest research, they make they make very sure, and they're evident, that microplastic on the long run might be the cause of many, many cancer types in the future. So what you can do is First of all, you have to be sure about what kind of food you are buying. Where do you buy that food? Reduce the amount of plastic bottles. Try to use more of these filtered water. And when it comes to the soil, I mean, the only way to unfortunately clean it. I'm really sorry. Give me a minute, please. Sorry, I had to drink some chai. In the end, and I don't want to sound cynical, there is no way out of the plastic crisis. There is only a way of less exposure to it. Because the contamination of the soil, no matter if it's in India or if it's in Europe or somewhere else, will increase. Why? Because we love to go shopping and we love to use all the Blinkit ads. So if you really want to bring change, you have to be conscious about of what you are buying and how much you buy. Because otherwise, automatically, these kind of pollution levels, specifically in the ocean, will rise to an amount we cannot be able to tackle anymore. There are currently research that has been done on the pollution of the ocean that is estimated that in 2050 we have more kgs of plastic in the ocean than fish. So imagine how much a whale weighs. And that is a very concerning, I think, information if we think about that the plastic pollution comes so severe that in the natural habitat of a whale or a fish, there's more artificial waste that we have created than what the planet or life itself has created. So what I would suggest, in order to at least try to pretend that the pollution level will rise on a larger scale, is raise awareness, educate your students, and be conscious about, as I said before, what you are buying and how much you are buying out of it and why you are using it. Because most products we're just buying, but we are not using them. I have been last week in Bandra to see all the nice Christmas decorations. And I would estimate that half of this Christmas decoration that is bought this season won't be used anymore in the next season and will be just thrown away. So the question is that really needed? Every time when I do cleanups, I see that the shore is flushing all the Ganpati celebrations back in. So Ganpati is one of the biggest festivals in Mumbai. Why it is really needed that you are throwing so much into the water. And it's up to the younger generation basically to educate the older generation to do it better. In the end, what we have to tackle is our own consumption. Not only our own consumption, but our need for things we actually don't really need in the end. We also know that, and there's most often a group pressure. And as a psychologist with a background of advertising, I have seen how beautiful brands have been created to tell you that you need this kind of certain product to make you feel better or to make you look better. But in the end, it won't help anyone if we are been stood up only with one problem, and that is our health. So there's this quote who says, during the day you have like 100 of challenges you have to solve, but if you have a health problem, there's only one problem you need to solve. And this is, I think, what we need to keep in consideration. So again, if we would like to support and tackle the challenge of the rising levels of plastic pollution, be aware of what you are buying and make sure that you are actually bringing the plastic products you have bought back into a facility where it can be recycled. There are so many litter pickers also across Mumbai. There are so many facilities where plastic products gets recycled. So make sure that even if there's not a waste management on a larger structure, you contribute to a waste management structure. Thank you very much. Are there any questions? And I apologize again for my voice, but this viral infection is very nasty.
Thank you for your time and expertise, ma'am. Any questions? No questions, ma'am.
Let me ask one question if it's possible.
Please. Please go ahead, ma'am.
Have you ever thought that the impact you are making on this planet with a rising plastic pollution is also in your responsibility? How many of you have ever thought about that? Please raise your hands. Okay. So, and what are you doing about it?
What are you doing about it?
Have you changed your daily routine or something? When you go into, let's say, you are based in Santa Cruz, right? So Phoenix Mills is not very far. When you enter into Phoenix Mills, have you ever thought about, do I need to buy this? Please, there's someone, I think, who has an idea. Can you tell us your name, please?
I'm Dr. Maiti Shukla. And the question you asked first was, how do we try to be responsible for the plastic we're using? Right now, the only solution we see is responsibly recycling it. I mean, I feel the end goal should be that I belong to the fashion industry, greatly responsible for a lot of microplastic that enters into the water and the soil. So I feel that and I cannot say that we can stop using polyester or any other polymers. We can only reduce it, but more than that, we can responsibly recycle it.
That's very true. Specifically when it comes to textile, I agree with you. But what you can do, for example, is you can choose, if you wash your clothes, what kind of washing powder you use. because there are natural washing powders and there are artificial washing powders. And the artificial washing powders, most of the time, are contributing to a higher level of plastic, or let's say microplastic, into the water chain.
I have another question. I've been reading about microorganisms who eat into plastic. I believe that research is going on. It's going on. So, I mean, how is it done? There are microorganisms, I believe, who digest plastic. Could you tell us a little more about it, please?
Yes, so there are certain research also in across Europe where they are looking into the amount of microorganisms who are eating, let's say, nano and microplastics and digest them to reduce the amount of these plastics into the environment. However, the problem is that the amount of plastic that needs to be tackled needs to have a certain amount of these microorganisms. So every time you are enter into a biodiversity cycle, you are automatically changing something. So even if we want to do that on a larger scale, we have currently no idea what the consequences of putting someone at large for the rest of the biodiversity cycle has. Because, see, in the end, every organism in the life cycle has a certain purpose, but we have altered it in a way that we have never understood in the first place. Now we are slowly understanding on a long term what sustainability actually means. The problem itself is that for us, time is in reality just in the moment. But if you take in consideration how many species on this planet have even lived, and in which period of time, which is 5 times, 6 times, million times the time human being has lived, and the challenges we have has been only created, if we are really honest, due to the industrialization era by the Western world. When you look 30 years or 40 years back into India, India was one of the most sustainable countries in the world. With Ayurveda, with yoga, with the way you have you made food, with the way you have harvest your crops, like everything. But we want to, unfortunately, sell products. And that's the same thing with the microorganism. It's an idea where someone, as a biotechnology company, wants to make money out of it. There are other ideas as mushrooms, for example. I don't know if you have heard about that. So there are recent studies where they are doing the same things with mushrooms, basically.
Thank you, ma'am.
Does that answer your question?
Yes, yes, ma'am, it does.
Okay, thank you very much. Are there more
Thank you,
questions?
ma'am.
Any more questions? No, ma'am.
More contributions to what they do in regards to plastic pollution? So many are doing something.
I just wanted to say that we use jute bag instead of plastic bag.
That is definitely a start. Yes. And you should encourage more people to do so.
I was having a question that how can we stop using plastic completely so that we are not intaking that plastic in our foods also?
I think to be honest, it's not possible. In the end, as I said, how will you avoid healthcare? So plastic plays a specific role when it comes to hygiene. And without plastic and the use of plastic in the healthcare sector, the hygiene question becomes very important. However, what you can do is, as you said, avoid plastic bags, avoid, for example, avoid plastic bottled water if it's not necessary. And if you buy it, then bring the bottle back to a recycling facility where it can be used for other purposes. When you would like to buy, let's say, cookies or chips, make sure maybe that the package can be used for different purposes, not only for the only purpose. So one of my best examples is if I buy a package of chips because I like chips, yeah, and also chips packaging is one of the main reasons why we have this pollution crisis. So I reuse these chips packaging as a waste bag. So I put it into my waste bin and it can be used for many times because the chips package is so strong and it's stronger most of the time than just a waste bag you buy into a store. So you can just clean it up and you can use it for a longer period of time. That's what I do. So you can be also very inventive about certain things when you have to buy them, but what other purposes do you find for that plastic product so that it stays longer into the cycle of use? Because the problem is not that we have used plastic or that we are using plastic. It's the amount of time that is so critical. And I mean, in the end, when we look at the new, let's say, Tata and Mahindra cars, then you have to stop buying a car because 60% or even 70% of a car nowadays is full of plastic. Most of the spare parts, most of it are just plastic.
Thank you, ma'am.
So then I would say I wish you a great day. It was an honor and a pleasure for me speaking today. Hopefully we can do that one day in person when I'm back in Mumbai, probably next year. As I said, or as I usually say, Mumbai Meri Jaan. So I wish everyone a Merry Christmas from Germany and a Happy New Year. And for upcoming exams for the students, great success for 2026.
Thank you, ma'am. We'll be looking forward to seeing you next year.
Take care.
Happy New Year to you too.
Thank you very much. Bye-bye.
Thank you.
The story where it begins only. Let's take a look at a short video of children at school creating posters filled with creativity, hope, and responsibility.
Use of creativity and care for our planet. A big round of applause for Ayana.
We now come to one of the most awaited moments of the event, the announcement of winners and prize distribution ceremony. Congratulations to all the winners in advance.
We will now announce the top three posters of the competition, starting with school category from Gujarat. They're connected with us online. Third place goes to Himanshu T. Rajpurohit. And second place goes to Naika Dil Kumari Kanukai. First place goes to Ratwa Vishnu Rajbhai.
From junior college, the third place goes to Ratwa Rajbhai. Second goes to Ratwa Viluta Bain. And the first place goes to Malik Aksha Banu Aisa Mehu.
Now moving on to the degree college category. Third place goes to Ratwa Par. Second place goes to Kriti S. Patel. And first place goes to Ratwa Harendra Bhai. Can we please have the applause?
We now move on to announcing the winners from Mumbai School. We request the dignitaries and the representatives to felicitate the winners. All the winners will be given cash prizes.
Third place goes to Aradhya S. Pandey, studying in Standard 7, New Model English High School in Santa Cruz East. Second place goes to Hitakshi Sharma, studying in Standard 8 from NES English Medium School, Haryana. First place goes to Khatija Tanik Sheikh from Miller High School. So, we come to the West, that is in Tamil.
Congratulations. Now we move on to junior college. The third place is backed by Fatima from Guru Nanak Khalsa College of Commerce, Science and Art. The second place goes to Seth Khan from Guru Nanak Khalsa College of Commerce, Science and Art. The first place goes to Syed Ayman from Guru Nanak Khalsa College of Commerce and Art. Congratulations.
Time to roll the reels, literally. The winner for the reel competition is Aparna Ganesh Sunamne from Shri Vithaldas Thakur College of Home.
Somebody. Today, we also have a few schools visiting, and I request the representatives and the winners to come and collect their certificates. First, we have the Scholar High School, Jogeshwari. The third prize goes to Salima Amina Adil from grade 8. The second prize goes to Ansari Tamanna Imtiaz, again from grade 8. And the first prize is backed by Minaz Mohammad Sahib, grade 9.
We move on to Wakola English School, located in Santa Cruz East. We request the whole team to step on the stage one by one. Third prize goes to Qureshi Aisha Javed Akhtar, studying in Italian English. Second prize goes to Sheikh Abuzar Amana, studying in Standard 7. First prize goes to Saidi Vilas Nacharya, studying in Standard 8.
Next, we have NES English Medium School, Bhiwandi. We request the whole team to come forward. The third prize is backed by Akshar Shirmala, grade 7. Second is backed by Hitakshi Sharma, grade 8. And first one is backed by Jeetal Bhavin Patel, grade 7.
Moving on to Village High School, located in Jogeshwari West. The third prize goes to Fatima Salim Sheikh, studying in Standard 8. Second prize goes to Ikra Murza Abdullah, studying in Standard 9. First prize goes to Khatija Tariq Sheikh, studying in Standard 8.
Congratulations to all our winners once again. Let's give them a huge round of applause. As we move towards the conclusion of this insightful and inspiring seminar, it is time to acknowledge the efforts, contributions, and support of everyone who made today's event a success. To express our collective gratitude, I now invite Dr. Maiti Shukla, our esteemed IQAC coordinator, to deliver the vote of Everybody's been sitting for a long time, so I'm going to need to do some work. How many of you know the number of people who reached the moon? How many people must have? Okay, I'll give estimates. You say yes one. 1,000, 100, 50. So 25, 10. It comes, okay, 5. 5 मूवी में जो है उतना. Now just think, it's okay. Even if you don't have, I was hoping people would raise their hands. But if it is so difficult, you need such a big rocket to reach the moon. Right? Imagine if all of us one day have to migrate to another planet. Is it really possible for us? There is no other planet which we can go to so easily. Correct? We need to first see our whole solar system. We have to identify a planet within the Goldilocks zone. Then we'll identify one place where there's water, there's food. If not, we have to see that it's made over there, and then we'll be able to go. So whatever we have over here. Correct? This was the concept for there is no planet B. We have nowhere to go but here. It is so important that we maintain it. We've done wrong things with our planet. We all have. My generation, maybe next your generation, or generation before and after. But it's time that we allow our planet to heal. And this is our small effort in doing these competitions where we can get you involved as a school, as young children, because the future is where we are looking for. We hope that you don't do as bad a job as we did. I hope you all work better in protecting what we already have and hopefully improving it also. Okay, so that was the reason for this competition as well as talks. So let me begin by thanking everybody first. First of all, I would like to thank the 3 esteemed guests who were here. Dr. Rucha Vipindra Dave for her talk on modern farming 4.0. And what I realized is, even if you have to live on this earth, Zameen pe reh ke bhi, we need help from the sky. We need our sensors, we need our satellites. Another thing is the new buzzword which we are all using, artificial intelligence. We are scared of it, but she actually showed us a way in which we can use artificial intelligence to get better food. The whole concept is that let's use new technology. That was what she was trying to say, to better our whatever equipments and whatever needs of the soil are. Let's use these technologies which are available for our benefit. The second person was Dr. Kamal Kumar Murali, and he spoke about restoration and soil conservation. So it was the first time I realized that we've been hearing about. We are crossing our boundaries. First it was 3, I mean now it's 9, and seeing the red color increasing. Everybody has to stay in their limits. एक मर्यादा होती है, we should not cross it. We put those limits for our planet also. There's so many species getting extinct. There's so much of air pollution which is happening, microplastics that we spoke about. And the limits are increasing and increasing. The kind of limits we are breaking in this case is not healthy. One day that whole circle, if it becomes red, we have to actually start searching for a planet. So that was something which I really strongly felt. And the second thing was that money talks at the end of it. If we're doing pollution, it's also because the companies want to give us better products which we would like better and we would consume more. If they don't see a benefit or a profit, why will they do something? So I really appreciated the business model which was shown towards the end, because until somebody sees a profit in what they're doing, why do they care for anything else?
Why will a farmer tomorrow say, I will not use pesticides or insecticides, knowing full well his crop will go for a toss if he doesn't see more money in organic? So a business model was a very practical approach to saving our planet. Otherwise, it's only talk. It's nothing else. And the last was Dr. Ricardo Rediker, where she spoke about hidden truth in the soil. The soil is speaking to us, is what I felt consistently through what she was saying. It's telling us, it's showing up, your microplastics are showing up everywhere. And definitely, I mean, there was only one way in which I used to look at my debit card and credit card. Now I'm going to look at it in another way. Imagine that much of plastic. She mentioned it. You're eating at the end of a year. The way I use my credit card will definitely change from now on. It's not only that I buy less, but I think I'll be more conscious of so much of plastic not going into my stomach. So I thank the three distinguished speakers. Then, on behalf of Team SVT, I want to thank our principal in charge, Mrs. Manjari Bhalera, Controller of Examination, Dr. Himani Malhotra, Professor Himani Malhotra, and the complete SVT team, because it was this initiation which we did, which and the motivation and the inputs which were coming consistently to us, which helped us in doing this program successfully. I would also, on behalf of SVT, thank the Gujarat Science College Chota Udecha for their collaborative efforts. Because if it was not for, I'm very sure, support from Dr. Rinkesh Bhagat, who's the principal in charge of the college, and the IQAC coordinator, Prachi Bhatt. And I'm very sure there's another team of people on the other end. Prachi, please convey our thank you to all of them, your student volunteers, your teachers in charge, everybody who has helped us in making this program successful from your end. Then I would like to thank again Clavitora for sponsoring this event as well as helping us in organizing for the speakers. Then please convey our very respectful thanks to everybody from your end in order to make this program successful. Thank you once again. Then I would like to offer a special thank, and I hope the teachers present here as well as online. A special thank you for the management and teachers of the schools where we've had these programs, because without their support, we would not have reached approximately more 1,500 students who participated in this competition. So if it was not for the schools and the junior colleges who were part of this, it would not have happened. So thank you so much for your support. The next is the students who participated. It felt good that at least 1,500 students care for the earth. That's the only amount which we could reach. I'm sure next year the number will double. I'm sure next year more students will start wondering how they can help Mother Earth in some form or the other. And from our end, from SVT, I want to thank all the teachers who volunteered to go to the schools, all the second year students who made it happen, who reached out to the schools, organized the competitions in whatever form they could help in their own groups. I would also like to thank the teachers from their end as well as the judges which came together first through the schools and then finally for the final competition results. So I would like to thank all of them also. A big thank you to the students and staff on our side. I would like to thank Bhavya and Trisha for hosting the program. I would also like to thank for maintaining the consistently sitting there and getting your signature. So that was Arya for the registration. Parthiv and of course they're not present here, but Mr. Lal and Inzama, because without them, this would not be happening. And then Elton, who was quietly fielding all the quietly feeling all the back talk of audio not visible, audible and visible and all the Zoom meeting on, Zoom meeting off. Thank you, Arjun, for that too. I would also like to thank Sarojini, Weber, Nina Bain, Nirmala Bain, Advait, our very quiet helper Clemmy, who was speaking all the letters, etc. And then a final big thank you to both Dr. Rajeshri Shinde and Viren, because they were the spark. They were the ones who were, they were the first sending messages to the students, orienting. They started with orientation of each and every S5 student as to how they could take this program outside. Thank you, Viren, for that. Organizing which teacher will go to which school. So thank you, Viren, again for that. And Rajeshri, who was fielding all the questions. So thank you, Rajeshri. Today also it went quite effortlessly. So thank you very much for that. So it's with hope and a lot of belief that I'm saying a thank you to everybody present. If I missed anybody, please forgive me. But thank you very much. It gives us hope that finally we are moving in the right direction. It's been 5 years of work for Planet Me. And I'm hoping never, looking at your generation, I'm hoping never have to go to any other planet. हम तो चले गए होंगे, but you will never have to go to another planet. Thank you.
For all the cooperation students, our FYD students who are sitting here since 10 o'clock and SY students. So I announce for the closure of the event. So our students, you can disperse. School representatives and school kids, you can wait here in this room. I request teachers and guests to proceed in principal's cabin. Yes. Even junior college, you can stay back to waiting.